Hello, my name is Tamika. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I work as a forensic psychiatric social worker within the correctional system. That's criminal justice. What I do basically, I work with individuals who have been deemed not guilty by reason of insanity or unfit to stand trial, stemming from some type of criminal court case. I also work with individuals who have been civilly committed due to mental illness and defect, who have been deemed unsafe to be in society and the community due to issues, due to concerns that they are a danger to themselves or a danger to others. I also work with the medical population at my facility, individuals who require acute medical needs. I work on coordinating services for them and discharge planning. How did I get into the field of social work and how did it lead to my job? In my undergraduate and graduate programs, I did internships with the Department of Corrections. I did internships with the Forensic Psychiatric Treatment Program. I have a dual background in both criminal justice and social work. I have both interests, so I pursued both degrees. And in my master's program, I concentrated in mental health, clinical mental health, in my MSW program. So I kind of put all of that together, and it's really blended together. It's led me to where I am. I work in criminal justice. I work as a social worker. I work with mental health. I do all that, combine all that together in what I do every day. What kind of certifications, skills, or personality characteristics are helpful to have in my position? You must be licensed to work in my position. You must have an LCSW. That's not to say that you are required to have an LCSW to start out. It's just that my agency requires an LCSW. But knowing your licensure and knowing what is expected to you and just beginning to pursue that role is important. Having great interpersonal skills and social skills, great conflict resolution skills. These are things that you're going to encounter on a daily basis. Working in mental health, you tend to work on an interdisciplinary team, meaning that you are the social worker, but you also work with medical doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, different clinical providers. And so not everyone is always going to agree. So there will be times where you would need to utilize those interpersonal skills and social skills to maximize your effectiveness. Having great assessment skills are very important when you're working in forensics. You'll be doing a lot of risk assessment, a lot of biopsychosocial background investigations, and quite a bit of mental health assessments, just figuring out whether or not a person is safe, figuring out their risks, also figuring out what a person's needs are once they leave your institution, once they leave whatever program or service you're providing. Continuity of care is going to be extremely important to keep that population on a path where they can be successful and where they don't end up back in the system. What do I like best about my job? Number one, the best thing that I like about my job is that no day is ever the same. Every day is going to be different. You're going to hear a new story. There's always going to be a new event, something to keep you on your toes. You will not get bored. I'm never bored in my job. There's always something new. You never know what's gonna come out of their mouth. You never know what their background is gonna be. It's so very interesting. It's something that I can really do for a lifetime. I also like about my job is that I work within a facility. I don't do field work. Not knocking field work. It's just not a preference of mine. I like the stability of being inside of four walls and having that be the norm, and just being in a very stable environment. What's the most challenging about my job? Um, Basically, in my job, they're working in forensics. There's going to be a balance between service and security. There's a balance between social services and custody. You are there as a social worker. You are providing social services to individuals. The people that you work around or the system that you work in may not necessarily think that you should be providing those services. They may not understand why you are taking such care with this population. I do work with a population of inmates. I work with a population of significantly mentally ill individuals, and I work with a population of civilly committed individuals, all of whom may have a history that is not necessarily the best. They may have done things in their past or in their history that people find deplorable, or that people really have some negative opinion about, and they don't feel like you should be trying to help this person. However, as social workers, we have a population. We do what's best for our particular population. If this is not a population that you feel comfortable working with, if they have done, if you're not comfortable, it's important to know what you're comfortable with working with and what you're not comfortable working with. I'm very comfortable working in the criminal justice population. They are all human beings, and I treat them as such. And, the other thing that's most challenging about my job is there is a lack of resources in mental health. Sending individuals out from my facility, sending them back into their communities, trying to research and find services, mental health services, housing programs, places for them to go. The resources are already very limited, but also the resources that are available to them with some of their histories and the things that are in their background, I mean, it just becomes slim to none. So you really have to search and search and search and really try to negotiate and advocate for your client and acquiring services for them. What advice do I have for social work students who want to do my job? If forensic social work is of interest to you, and forensic social work goes from working in the court system, working in probation, working in the criminal justice system, doing sex offender therapy, doing forensic mental health, working in prisons and jails. I mean, it's really across the board. Anything that has anything to do with the criminal justice system is considered forensic social work. If that is of interest to you, the number one thing that you want to do is to stay ready, keep your background clean. There will be extensive background checks that are done when you're applying for these positions. They look at your finances. They look at your criminal history. They talk to people who've known you, look at your character and your ethics. They're very concerned about that. Oftentimes there are physical fitness tests that may happen. Some not as extensive as others, but they do occur. And also start that path early. When you're looking at your field placements, you're going to want to look at placements that have that are somewhat related to criminal justice, whether it's with probation, whether it's with a forensic mental health program, whether it's in the court system. Find a way to attach yourself with a placement that will start you off on that path, because what employers look for, they look for people who have been exposed in some way to the justice system, who have some working knowledge of the justice system, or take some classes in the justice system. They're always looking for people who have some background that will really open the door for you as you're looking to pursue forensic social work. I hope I've given you, it's very brief, I'm hoping I've given you some overview of what I do. What I do is very extensive, and I can talk about it all day. But that's just kind of a cursory look at what it's like to be a forensic social worker. Thank you.